Hello and welcome to day 2 of the Torian Pro live from Pat Rafter Arena. Jeremy Austin and Pip Malone with you on a very special day when we paint the Pro pink in honour of Hannah Clark and her children, Alia, Liana and Trey. A great day of competition. Our adaptive division hitting the competition floor. First up, Tia dominating yesterday, but we had some people in there who are really surprising us.
Absolutely no surprises yesterday, but it was amazing to see from the females that Grace Walton, Maddie Sturt already with tickets to the games, but they did not disappoint with their performances.
A couple of big names as well. Maddie Gilmore, probably the surprise packet that we didn't expect to see, but Emily DeRoy as well. She jumping in after a great event number 2.
That she did. She really showed us why she made it to the games as an individual a couple of years ago. That experience as a team member really showing on the floor. Just it came out there and absolutely tore event 2 to shreds. But Tia-Clair Toomey just putting on a show here for the Torian Pro, giving the people what they want.
And 2 wins from 2 events for Tia-Clair Toomey. And there's your top 5 for the women after 2 events as we get underway for our adaptive event number 3. This one called Hann in honor of Hannah Clark. And not surprising to see some athletes able-bodied and also the adaptive division pairing up. One of the first times we've seen something similar to this. But 2017 Torian Pro champ on the floor right now.
That's right, Harriet Roberts making a comeback to the Torian Pro floor. Spoke to her this morning. She asked me why I wasn't down there. And it's like,
did you give her an answer, or a decent one anyway?
no, I didn't.
Okay. Steph Patel has had a remarkable comeback. Great effort yesterday in her rowing. So in the seated division, but also without core, makes rowing very difficult. And Emily Cairns, the wonder from WA, partnering up with Harriet Roberts. Emily winning the Adaptive CrossFit Games last year in San Antonio. I met her for the first time just before the event last year, and I said, how are you going to go? She goes, I'm going to win. And I went, okay. Confidence is definitely a thing. Emily and Harriet, far left of screen, about to finishing off their lunge. They're currently sitting in 3rd position. Shelley, the Raw Iron Hot Wheels. With the adaptive community, it's not what you can't do, it's what you can do. And you will notice that handlers on the floor with the athletes as well. Lisa Murray joining Shelley Cronau. The far right of screen is our Raw Iron Hot Wheels. To the far left, the arrow and the arm, Harriet Roberts and Emily Cairns. If you've not seen a one-arm toter bar before, you are about to. Something that Emily was exposed to at the CrossFit Games Adaptive last year. And a number of athletes really struggled with the concept. But by the end of it, they just worked out a way to do it.
See, she's really using that kip to drive her toes up to the bar.
Just to the right of screen, it is Chelsea Dingley. CrossFit Ariti Queens, partnering up with Isabella Galea. And Harriet, absolute gymnastics specialist, running Mahi movement up on the Sunshine Coast. And she's still got it.
Oh, doesn't she ever? Gymnastics has always been her jam, still is.
And Shelley all the way down there, on the far right of screen, getting to work on her ring dips. Cody Campbell to the right of screen, the lower minor division, partnering up with Lucy Burrows. They had an events win the back end of yesterday, event number 2. Currently sitting third, 170 points.
£35 dumbbell pairs. That's 16 kilos per dumbbell.
And Louise Garland and Sam Delaquila, the lower minor division. Note the 2 different standards. Emily Cairns to the left with the 1-arm overhead carry. Very tough on the core.
Very tough on the core, as is the handstand walk. Still that locked out position overhead, the elbows. And handstand walk and a single arm dumbbell overhead walk after doing a set of toes to bar becomes quite difficult.
Great battle, either end of Pat Rafter Arena. Emily Cairns and Harriet Roberts battling with Alyssa Murray and Shelley Connell. Raw Iron Hot Wheels just ahead of Arrow and the Arm. Emily qualifying for the Adaptive CrossFit Games once again in Las Vegas in September. And a number of athletes in the field qualifying as well, and very excited. The Alt Control Delts making their way down the floor. Shez Harb and Sabrina Goncalves.
Athletes have to make it across each line, or they have to go back to the previous line. So you may see some athletes dropping down from their handstand, just making it over that line so they don't have to go back and do it again. Managing the fatigue.
Steph Patel making her way back, the middle of screen. The wheelie. One of the toughest movements for our seated division, but one they practice constantly to get better at. Cody Campbell just getting stuck on that handstand walk. Steph making her way down. Love the team name, Feral Grit. Steph on the left. Kayo on the right-hand side. 2 8th place finishers. Season with 60 points on the leaderboard. Heading into our second day of competition. Three minutes, apologies. We've got 6 minutes remaining for our time cap. We saw Olivia there, things are getting pretty tough.
Who's wheeling dumbbell deadlifts. The athletes have to make sure that the dumbbell is touching down to the bottom wheels. See the judges making sure the reps are completed correctly.
The adaptive community ever growing. And Wheelwad behind the movement that is allowing more athletes to get involved. Chelsea Dingley in all pink, one arm overheads. CrossFit Ariti Queens. And Isabella Galea on that handstand walk halfway down. Bottom of screen, Emily Cairns getting a much needed break as Harriet Roberts. And you probably won't find many better people to do a handstand walk. And I noticed she just dropped her, bent her knees, give her a little bit more momentum perhaps.
Just pushing that weight over the top a little more just to propel forward.
And a great concept. One able-bodied and one adaptive athletes in a pairs division. Great work from Sarah and Alethea on the floor. CFM muscle. Maurice Garland. Sam Delaquila. Cody Campbell just to the far right of screen. Now living in Brisbane, moving over from New Zealand. Partnering up with one of our other adaptive athletes, Jeremy Gordon. Opening a gym here in Brisbane. Jeremy very disappointed and very sad he couldn't be here competing this weekend. Final 4 minutes for our athletes. Our first heat of the day. The male adaptive division will be coming up next, followed by our individuals. Cast our attention to the masters and the teenagers on the competition floor for the first time today. Sam in the background, just getting those handstands sorted out. As Emily and Harriet, very back of screen, make their way back to the rig. To the far right. Steph and Olivia going for it. As well as our Raw Iron Hot Wheels, Alyssa and Shelley. Two and a half minutes and a tough battle. Blue Lake CrossFits, Jamie McInerney and Natalie Diedrich making their way back. As the Raw Iron Hot Wheels, Alyssa and Shelley get event 3 completed. Giving athletes the opportunity right throughout the 3 days of competition here to get exposed to the main floor here at the Pat Rafter Arena. Jane on the left, Natalie on the right. Some great standards Sarah and Alethea have come up with for our athletes. Emily and Harriet. Oh, the one arm.
Outstanding.
Do you call that a cartwheel or a round off from Emily Cairns, the showgirl? Expect nothing less from a dance teacher, Emily Cairns, and always has the greatest time on the floor. Well, what a partner up with Harriet Roberts former champion, CrossFit Games competitor. Chelsea Dingley also competing at the Adaptive CrossFit Games last year in San Antonio. And this is a movement that stumped her last year at the Games, and now nailing it.
And great use of the equipment as well to get herself set and prepared into that kipping swing.
Steph and Olivia. Secret handshake, that's what it's all about. Wonderful performances from female competitors. The Raw and Hot Wheels. Alyssa and Shelley. Their first place finish.
Nice, Charles.
The athletes going through the Open and going through a qualifying process to get to the CrossFit Games this year in Las Vegas. It's going to be an exciting time.
Oh, that it is, especially if we see some of these performances. Emily and Harriet in lane 1, showing us both of them with gymnastics prowess, both on the toes to bar, smashing through them, but raw iron Hot Wheels, sneaky lane number 8, just going about their business, crossing over the finish line first, and they were stoked with it.
Our females finishing up for the morning, and our males about to hit the competition floor for the first time. And I'm expecting to see something similar to what we've just seen from our ladies.
Oh, certainly will. It's going to be exciting on the floor. The vibe down there this morning already is outstanding for a Saturday morning.
Something I found when I went to the CrossFit Games Adaptive last year in San Antonio was just the whole vibe that the adaptive community brings. And they've just brought it here today, and getting out here on the Pat Rafter Arena main floor is just so special for them to get the opportunity to come out here. So great programming, but also great scheduling from Mike Towner and John O'Snape. But our men's standings after 2 events for our elite individuals, they'll be coming up a little bit later on. And Ricky and Jay in control. Guy with that ridiculous performance in event number 2 yesterday. Pete Ellis consistent again. And Zane Shalabear-Healy with that great result in event number 1. Finishing off that top 10. And although Ricky has already qualified for the Games, he's still got things to work on.
Oh, and I mean, he said it himself yesterday. He's going to use this as training for the Games. But look, event 2 was my favorite of the day. And this man right here, wow, didn't he absolutely tear shreds off event 2?
If you're beating Ricky by a couple of minutes in an event like that, you're doing really well. But the showman is Guy Malheiros, and he gave the crowd exactly what they were hoping for. Moving on to our adaptive male divisions. And it is event number 3 for the morning. It is Hann, all thanks to small steps for Hannah.
For time, 100-foot handstand walk, 100-foot walking dumbbell lunge, 60 toes to bar, 100-foot handstand walk, 100-foot walking dumbbell lunge, 40 toes to bar, another 100-foot handstand walk, 100-foot walking dumbbell lunge, and 30 toes to bar, with a 14-minute time cap.
A tough one for the adaptive females. Only a couple of our pairs getting completed. Adaptive athlete and an able-bodied athletes hitting the floor together for the first time. Or in the case of a team that is about to hit the competition floor, boys from down under. Two adaptive athletes getting together. And very decent crowd coming in early. We've got another 8 hours ahead of us here at Pat Rafter Arena for day 2. We'll see our elite athletes coming up. Our Masters divisions hitting the floor. Also our teenagers, both divisions, 14, 15 and 16, 17. Before we get to our elite individuals later on tonight. Our lane assignments for the first and only heat of our male adaptives. The legends, should say the leg ends, leading the charge at the top of the leaderboard. They've had a first and a second. And Ross Austin from Barnstaple and Devon in England competed at the CrossFit Games, leading the charge with Brian Goffnitz. CrossFit All or Nothing. There's Ross on his way out. What a great surname, Ross Austin.
Speak for yourself.
From Dupree's in our vision impaired division, and Jordan Cabrita. No one enjoys the floor more than Jordan Cabrita, I don't think. Glenn Miller, the far right in the seated division as well. Before we get started, athletes just going through an extended warm-up. Athletes just given a little bit of extra time. And Tom DePries from CrossFit Noosa. One of the components of the Adaptive CrossFit Games last year was they blindfolded everybody for 2 of the events, just so that they had a level playing field. Obviously, the vision impaired division can be relative. You can have athletes that are completely blind or partially blind. So the CrossFit Games Adaptive, they went, okay, everyone's going to wear a blindfold, and all had handlers. Making sure we get a level playing field. And CFC, Andrew Parker and Carl Lodick from CrossFit Karama down on the Gold Coast. Carl actually is one of our vendors. Hopefully he's got someone looking after his vendor stall while he's here on the floor competing. DC Dogs, Alan Creamer. Intellectual disability division at the CrossFit Games last year as well, finishing 8th. They're at 100 points with the 5th and 7th currently. Lane number 2, fall from Grace. Riley Grace, one of our up-and-comers, partnering with brother Elliott. He's off CrossFit Verge here in Brisbane. And 14 minutes. We get started. Ross Austin, bottom of screen. In the lower AK division, lower AK meaning above knee amputation. And how hard would it be to have an amputation and then go upside down and walk on your hands?
Oh, look, pushing the weight forward to propel their hands forward. You see the athletes kind of arching their back so that they can propel forward through those fingertips. Doing a really good job of actually not having to arch his back too much. Using that leg to push the weight forward into his hands.
And the prosthetic coming into play now. Athletes have got the choice whether or not they use the prosthetic or not. We do find that when the athletes move to the bar, which we'll see a little bit later on, that Ross potentially will lose that prosthetic. Grace Brothers. Riley at the back and Elliott out in front. Doing extremely well so far from day one. A second and a first. Not in the lead, however. Lane one. The leg ends. Only ahead on countback. Team 48-10, Connor McGill. About to put those dumbbells down, finishing up in fourth in the Neuro Minor division at the Adaptive CrossFit Games last year. Ricky Stanley about to attempt the handstand walk. Something we've seen from so many athletes over the years. Let's go back 2016 when you competed at the Torian Pro and won it. Handstand walks back then, so long ago.
Back in the day, handstand walks was something not all athletes could do either. Now it's a staple part of CrossFit programming.
Harlody. Our able-bodied athletes, Andrew Parker. I've known Andrew for about 25 years through rugby circles. Caught up with him early this morning on the competition floor. Late call-up. He was having beers Wednesday night. You're on.
Adaptive athlete completing knee raises. Using the same kipping motion, pulling those knees up nice and high.
Still after a range of movement, though.
Still bringing the knees up high, just eliminating that kick at the top.
Tom DeBreeze to the far right of screen, hanging onto that bar. Just some awareness for him. The vision impaired division. The background watching on, Alethea Boone, one of the greatest in the Oceania region, now well and truly ingrained in the adaptive community and making sure things are top-notch here at the Torian Pro. Breeze. Boys from CrossFit Noosa.
That single arm dumbbell overhead walk and with the suitcase position as well. So tough on the core to stabilize one overhead while keeping the other down by your side, nice and tight.
Yep. Connor finishing up as Tom making his way back. Tom finishing in 8th at the CrossFit Games last year, San Antonio. The leg ends continue their dominance of first and second, and are currently only ahead on countback to Fall from Grace. Grace brothers in the lane adjacent. Brian Goffinet has finished down the end, waiting for Ross Austin. Some movements easier with the prosthetic. Glenn Miller, Grant Jackson.
The dumbbell wheelie walk has to be one of the toughest movements the adaptive athletes have to complete, holding those dumbbells.
The wheelie is something they practice a lot of. CrossFit Games last year, they had obstacles they had to get around and move their chair around. But putting a load in the middle, especially for athletes who are utilising that core movement, we've got our seat with or without hip. But Glenn Miller, one of those athletes that is seated with hip function, but still balancing dumbbells. It's a tough ask. Grant Jackson making his way back, and Glenn Miller finishing 7th at the Adaptive CrossFit Games last year. Loving how the athletes, both adaptive and able-bodied, are being tested. Oscar and Geordie continue in lane number 6 to the far left. And just over the halfway point of the 3rd event of the weekend. Adaptive pairs, they will head out to the Proven Arena next, finishing off their 2nd event of the weekend on the middle day, Saturday, where we paint the pro pink. The leg ends, CrossFit all or nothing. Brian moving quick on that handstand walk, and Ross having a chuckle to himself saying, slow down, buddy.
Smart rest there on the handstand walk. The athletes do have to get over the line to make that section of the floor count. Otherwise, they have to go back to the start, which is brutal at this point of the event. Just managing that fatigue really smartly. Going from a set of toe to bar and then straight into handstand walk, very tough on the grip.
Ladies battling all the way to the time cap. Melissa and Shelley from Aurora and Hot Wheels were our first female adaptive pairs over the line. And what's the bet? We see Jordan Cabrita lose that shirt post-event.
See how difficult it is to do that single arm overhead dumbbell walk. Just the weight really coming down, wanting you to bend the elbow.
Ross and Brian trying to hang on to that first place position on the leaderboard. Boys from CrossFit Verge, ball from Grace. Elliot and Riley just in the next lane, lane number 2.
Oh, those last couple of steps of the handstand walk. Just willing your hands over that line.
Elbow on your shoulder.
Brian Coffin has just gone, I'm out of here. Still plenty of time on our cap. Riley. Talk about talent. This young man has it. Ross Austin just shaking it out. Still time to get it finished. Connor Hunt and Tom DePries. Connor on the right, Tom on the left.
Athletes have to make sure that that knee's touching the ground. They're also not allowed to shuffle their feet in between each lunge. Otherwise, the judge will send them back to where they started.
And the best of the best judges on the floor as well.
You can see how taxing this is getting on the upper body. Those dumbbell walking lunges, holding those dumbbells in position after you've done toes to bar and the handstand walking. Really hard on the biceps.
Just over 30 seconds remaining now. Tom DePries finishing well. Ross Austin continues his toe to bar. Oh, the boys use everything to your advantage. And giddy up, Ross Austin. Under time cap. And that's why they are leading the competition after 3 events.
They couldn't let the girls show them up with their cartwheel.
What's happening down there in lane 1? Oh, what an epic finish. The leg ends. Brian and Ross. King Connor from 48-10. And Glenn Miller. Durant Jackson as well. George Cabrita. One of those athletes that you just love being around.
Oh, he lifts the roof off this place when he comes out.
But the boys, the leg ends, they are leading the competition.
They were so dominant on their hands. The handstand walk, no trouble at all. Those dumbbell wheelie walks, so tough on the core.
I've seen some finishes before. Oh, there's some cartwheels on the floor as well. It's all happening here. The crowd's loving it. Geordie. Their shirts off as well. Let's head down to the competition floor with our males and our females for the adaptive division.
I am here on the floor of the Pat Rafter Arena with our event winners from Hann in our adaptive division. I'm going to come to Emily first. Now, if anyone wants an entertaining Instagram, Emily Cairns Fit is the one. And she shares a lot of your social media story of CrossFit on there. But what do you wish people knew about adaptive CrossFit?
I think what people don't realize is like how hard we have to work to be able to do what everyone else can. And we just don't really get the same opportunity as everyone else. Like, we work super hard, so it's really cool. Like, Torian gets us on the floor, and the more we get out there, the more people with disabilities will see it, and they'll join us, and yeah, then we can grow the division. So, yeah, I just wish everyone would get around it, because we could do some pretty cool stuff.
And pretty cool stuff you did. I'm also going to ask Harriet if that's okay. Harriet, you have been on the floor constantly. You've done teams, you've done individuals, but what has it been like being on the adaptive floor?
I think it's one thing being able to watch these guys on Instagram and see all the amazing, talented things that they can do, but actually being able to stand side by side with someone like Emily, it just opens up your eyes a lot.
Well, you were fantastic, the two of you. I'm also going to pass on to the boys now. Iron Brian, I hear the nickname is for you. Well, what I'm going to ask you is, as part of your role in this division, this is the first time Adaptive has worked with an able-bodied athlete. What has your experience like been with that? And how do you think it would make such a big impact if we move this onto the global stage?
Yeah, so for me it was also like a first, like even competing on this floor, so I'm very grateful for that. I'm so grateful to have Ross as a partner because he's such a great athlete, and I wish him like the best of luck. And yeah, like this experience is great. As they were saying, that's great to put some light on the adaptive division, and the fact that we train alongside and do all the workouts, we can see that we're dying as much as them, if it's not more. What I always say is that he's almost carrying me, so yeah, that's a very great experience.
And last but not least, Ross, a fellow Brit, but a lot of people don't call you Ross. Can you explain your nickname to people?
Well, obviously, because I don't have any toes, everyone calls me Twinkle Toes.
And toes to bar, you still absolutely smashed that as well. Huge thank you to everyone, and have a great weekend.
Twinkle Toes, Ross Austin, bringing it home strong. And the leg ends, joining up with Brian Goffinet. They are going to be leading the charge. And Emily Cairns, a burlesque dance teacher and dancer herself. Body awareness, something you can't buy.